Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Just going to wait a bit. I'm just checking if I am actually live because, as we all know, I'm not very good at this. But anyway, how's everyone? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you... Why is the Instagram not working? Okay, cool. Hang on, we're telling your followers that you started live. Amazing. Cool. Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see me? Pop yes in the comments. Hello. So what I'm going to do is that I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram at the exact same time. Multitasking, I know. Amazing. Yeah, cool. How's it, Sam? Hello, everyone. Cool. So how is everyone doing? How was everyone's day? Can you hear me? Can you see me? What's up? So if anyone that is listening or anyone that is tuning in doesn't know who I am, my name is Jennifer Amy Stoller, aka the Divorce Chick. I am an attorney, I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm a human being, not a robot, although you always get asked on the internet, it's like, are you a robot? I'm like, no, not. But basically, to get to the point, I am an attorney and I specialize in family law, divorce law. I do things a bit differently. I'm very child focused. I kind of want to show people that divorce can be different. I'm here to change the narrative on divorce. I'm here to show people that you can divorce from anything in your life, whether it's a human, whether it's a habit, whether it's an unhappy space. You get to divorce from anything that doesn't serve you, right? But now, today, I'm wearing my little lawyer hat, and I will be talking about parenting plans and co-parenting. If you guys have just joined, if you see me looking here and here, it's because I'm here on Instagram and I'm here on Facebook and I don't know how to do it. Well, I've tried to figure out how to do it on one app, but like this color here, very blonde, does not filter through me properly. So I'm going to cut to the chase, right? So I am going to be talking about parenting plans today and the concept of co-parenting, right? If you guys have any questions, you're more than welcome to pop them in the comment section. If you guys have any comments, you're more than welcome to comment. But I will be giving away a free ebook on parenting. Hello, Danielle. How are you? On parenting plans at the end. I'll pop the link in both of the comments. And also, I will be telling you about something else very cool. So stay tuned. How's it, Michelle? You rock as well. Guys, I feel a little bit famous when I do these. No, I'm completely joking. Like, even my dog is like, what the hell? Cool. So basically, I'm going to be talking about parenting plans. Firstly, a little bit of a disclaimer. Everything that I'm going to be talking about is in the realm of South African law, right? I want you to understand this. If you are listening from any other country, I will also be giving tools. Okay, so obviously tools can be applied universally, but the legal aspects, if I'm going to be explaining anything legal, that is from a South African law point of view. At the end of the day, I am a South African attorney. I wish that I knew every single type of law in the world, but then I'd be a jack of all trades and a master of none. So let's go. So basically, when it comes to parenting plans, especially in South Africa, a parenting plan for me is one of the most vital things that you will ever enter into if you have children. Okay. In South Africa, there are different times that you would enter into a parenting plan. And there are times where I would say that it would be like, obviously, if you're married and you're co-parenting and you're in a marriage relationship, a parenting plan is not necessary. If you share a child together, whether you're in a relationship, obviously parenting plan would not be needed if you're co-parenting well. But at the end of the day, there are two instances when a parenting guys, it's been a long day. So Bit of a warning, if I mumble a bit, it's because it's been a long day, and also it's a little bit of entertainment, right? Like, I'm talking about law. It can be a bit boring sometimes, but I'm here for entertainment as well. So when it comes to parenting plans in South Africa, and I presume in any other countries that would do it this way, you would provide for different types of things in a parenting plan. The first thing would be, thank you, MJ. Love it. Love it. Cool. The first thing would be contact and care. Okay. Contact and care in South Africa is one of those things where we in South Africa, and it's actually quite fascinating if you are listening from any other country, we don't deal with a thing called custody anymore. There's no such thing as custody in South Africa. So in South Africa, you would either have full primary residence where your co-parent would have contact and care, or you would have shared primary residence, and that is when the children or the child live in an equal amount of time in the two different parents' homes. Okay. I'm not sure if anyone watched my live with Katie Davey. She's amazing. She has a Instagram handle called Co-Parenting Peacefully, and she specializes in parenting, right? My role today is very much to show you the legal aspects, what questions to ask when you're entering into a parenting plan, what things to tell your attorney that you want in the parenting plan, and kind of how to guide you through it in one, how to approach getting one, and two, how to get into a position where if you're paying an attorney to draft your parenting plan, you at least are ticking all the boxes of what is going to come up, right? There's nothing worse than paying for a parenting plan, thinking everything's in order, and then you're missing something like a dispute resolution clause, or you're missing something like what would happen if the child needs to travel and so on. But I'm here and I've got you. So and if you guys tune in, I will be giving you an ebook where it will show you specifically in a book what you should be asking for in your parenting plan. And obviously, this is a bit of a taster. This is going to be between 20 and 30 minutes. I can never, ever cover like everything in that amount of time, but I'm here to plant seed and let you think about that. And then if you need any assistance going forward, I've got you. You reach out, we set up a free call, you read the ebook, and we go forward. So essentially in a parenting plan, this is, and get a pen. If you have a pen, write this down. There are certain things that this for me is a non-negotiable. One, where are the children going to be living? Is it going to be shared residency? Is it going to be primary residency? Two, what contact will the other parent have, right? And when I say contact, be as specific as possible. What time will the other parent fetch the child or the children? Where will they be fetched? How will you communicate when you are fetching? Because as much as it kills me to say this, many parents do not communicate effectively, which means if you're not communicating effectively, it can lead to conflict. And when it leads to conflict, what happens? You spend a lot of money on attorneys, and it only really affects your life as well as your children's lives. So when I draft a parenting plan, I make sure that I put in a clause that allows the parents to follow some sort of process in how they communicate, when they communicate, and kind of like a roadmap in how they should be speaking to each other to communicate where there is comprehension. So that's the second thing. Yeah. The third thing would be maintenance, right? So sometimes there is a separate maintenance order that people have, but no matter what, I always say put a maintenance clause. If how much are the parents paying for the child or the children? Where is that money getting paid to? Is it getting paid directly to the other parents? Is it getting paid to the service provider? Service provider being the school or the medical aid or something like that. Some parents have this very weird thing that they don't like paying money to the other parents because they think that they're going to spend it on themselves. If anyone has kids, and this is why I align my when they bring this up. Sometimes, obviously, it is relevant, and sometimes parents do that. But generally, if you have that fear, then rather pay it directly to the service provider, like the school or the medical aid or the extramural activity place or whatever. So yeah, like I just want to ask you guys, whoever's watching, is this valuable? Do you understand what I'm saying? If you have any questions, pop them in the chat. I do speak a bit fast, and I'm really sorry about it. I just get super amped about these topics. And also, I try to give you as much information as I possibly can in the time that we have together. So if this is valuable, hit me with an emoji, not physically hit me. Obviously, that's a weird comment, Jennifer. But yeah, put an emoji in the comments just so I can see that you're there. I'm in a very weird mood today, guys. So buckle up, enjoy the ride. Then the next thing would be a dispute resolution clause. For me, there's always going to be something that comes up, right? And I always have this thing where I say conflict is inevitable, but combat is optional. There's always going to be some sort of fight that's going to happen. There's always going to be some sort of disagreement that happens, but there needs to be some sort of clause that if that does happen, there's a specific procedure for you guys to follow in order to rectify the problem, okay? And why I put a procedure there is because genuinely, when people are in conflict or people are extremely emotional, their rationality goes out the window. They run to attorneys. They want attorneys to deal with it. They pay lots of money when they could actually just follow a very simple procedure like sitting down and trying to discuss the problem. If they can't, then they address the problem to each other in writing. If they still can't resolve it, then you nominate a place where you can mediate, right? So obviously it's not that simple. I'm trying to simplify it as much as possible. But a mediation clause, one, allows people to not rush to the courts, right? Litigate against each other unnecessarily. And it also makes people come together and communicate. And I know this is I'm going to hit you with some hard reality. Even if you dislike your co-parent, even if you don't communicate well with your co-parent, if you share a child or children together, you're stuck together. Sorry, you are. You need to be in a position that if issues do come up, you can resolve them. Because as your kids grow older and they start getting married or they start having little grandbabies for you and they start doing all these different things in life, you want to be in a position that both parents can be there, right? Like my parents have been, both of them, yes, sometimes they bicker at each other, but they have been at every single major event I've ever had in my life together as a team. And that, for me, shows that sometimes you must love your children more than you dislike your ex, right? So if anyone is willing to comment, like, do you guys have a parenting plan? Are you struggling with a parenting plan? Do you know how to communicate with your partner? Like, I want you to share this information. You can either pop me a DM or put it in the comments, but essentially, a parenting plan is there to get you guys to be able to co-parent effectively and not, excuse my language, F up your children. Okay. I've just got a comment here on Facebook. If they pay directly to a service provider, may you request a proof of payment to make sure that that parent pays 100%. But once again, I would put it in the parenting plan, right? There are many instances where if something is not in writing, it is very easily forgotten and it is very easily argued upon. So in a parenting plan, I would put a clause, and I'm just going to flow with it. This parent will pay this service provider by this amount or any amount that obviously is relevant, 50% or a percentage or whatever. And when that parent pays, the other parent can request a proof of payment and the other parent must send that proof of payment within 7 business days. Done. There's a process. Well done. Congratulations. If you don't, Baloo, come. If you don't get to a point, so Baloo's the little mascot here. If you get to a point where you are not in a position that you can ask for that, many parents will turn around and they'll say, well, it's not in the parenting plan, so I'm not going to do it. Make sure that literally you... Hello, sorry. I just got a call, and can I tell you what's actually funny? I'm going to pause for a moment for a bit of entertainment, right? I have a very weird relationship with my dad. Like, my dad phones me at 6 p.m. every day to remind me to floss. Like, how cute is that? And I'm a child of divorce, right? Like, my parents didn't get on really well. And like now, my mom will probably phone me and be like, your dad's trying to get hold of you to tell you to floss. Just a side note, just a side little funny story. So that's why I paused. But anyway, when it comes to that, so yes, you can ask for that, but make sure it is a clause in the parenting plan. Second, due to my kid's dad litigating in the beginning, I had to use both my kids' investments to pay for legal fees. What is the fairness in that? There's absolutely no fairness. Unfortunately, that happens a lot. That is very, very terrible. I'm sorry that that happened to you. I can't see your name because it doesn't pop up, but it's one of those situations where it's really, really crappy, and I'm really, really sorry that that happened to you. And that's why I essentially do the legal space how I do it, because that's a perfect example of how children suffer in that litigation space. But yeah, there's no fairness in that. But hopefully both you parents have learned from that to see that it's not worth using your children's investments and money to litigate. People say the only people that win in a divorce are the attorneys. It depends what the attorney's definition of winning is. For me, if I had to get paid and have two parents fighting, killing each other, and having children that are traumatized, that is not a win for me. Even if you had to pay me $1 million, that is not a win. My winning is very much where parents learn tools to parent, they learn tools to co-parent, and they mom up and dad up for their kids. That is winning for me. Obviously, I charge fees. I know my value. I know my power in the space, and I give a shit. Also, warning, I do swear sometimes. But the biggest thing is, if you're choosing the wrong attorney, that attorney will be winning by getting your money and no results. Just a 2 cents worth there. So that's when it comes to parenting plans. Essentially, I did a poll. I've got like a million different devices going on here. I did a poll on, it was last week, where I asked questions about, I did like a poll where it was like true or false. If anyone voted on the poll, put a comment in saying, yes, you voted. And I'm going to deal with those questions now. And I'm going to give you feedback on them. Okay. My biggest problem is that we don't have a big parenting plan. That is a massive problem. Pop me a DM. I will be giving a free ebook on parenting plans explaining the process, and also a link to a free call in order to see if we can actually work together. Because I always say, if you don't make time to resolve issues and even make a little bit of an investment to enter into a parenting plan or pay the right attorney to draft your parenting plan, you better make time for absolute chaos and destruction. Because if I'm not saying that that always happens, but rather like that whole quote where it says a smart person solves a problem, a wise person avoids a problem. Let's rather avoid. So you're more than welcome to pop me a DM after this. I'll send you a link. You can book a call. I can see if I can assist you. We can see if we can go forward, and I can at least guide you in that regard. Thanks for sharing. Cool. I'll answer that question now. So the one poll was, the final parenting plan must be made in order of court or registered at the family advocate. True or false? Everyone watching, do you think that that's true or false? I just have the stats here. I don't know exactly who voted, but pop in the comments if you want true or false. I'm quite impatient, so I might not wait too long. No, I'm joking. I'm quite patient. But in terms of this question, it was 88% true and 14% false. Okay, I have a true there. I have a true. Cool. So 88% of people said true. This is a tricky one. Okay, and I'll tell you why it's tricky. A parenting plan does not need to be registered at the family advocate or made in order of court if it is, when I say informal, okay? If it's a parenting plan that you enter into when you get a divorce, then yes, right? Because that becomes part of the divorce order. If, say, for example, there are you have a couple that are unmarried and they enter into a parenting plan if they have to break up, and they don't register it at the family advocate and they don't make it an order of court, it is still valid. Are you protected as much as you would be if it was an order of court? No, obviously. But does it make it invalid just because it's not an order of court or registered at the family advocate? Definitely not. It is still an agreement between two parents based on something that they are going to do. Okay. Do I recommend that if you enter into a parenting plan to register at the family advocate or make it an order of court? 100%. Because what is the point of going through all of that if you don't do it properly? Okay. So it is true and false, but it is not a strict requirement that is made in order of court if it's not part of a divorce order. Okay. If you guys have more questions on that, you're more than welcome to ask. But it's like one of those questions that you ask an attorney and the attorney goes, well, there's an answer, but it depends. Like that's one of those situations. Then the second question was, only the parent who earns the most will pay maintenance. True or false? I actually like this game. I think I'm going to do more. True or false? Okay, I'll tell you the stats now. But I'll repeat the question. Only the parent who earns the most will pay maintenance. Okay, true. It's a bit slow. Okay, cool. So here it was 79% false and 21% true. This is also, it depends, but not really. So let me explain to you how maintenance works. And this is where I wish that I actually was in a room on a stage, because then I could draw pictures and like that's my jam. I love like doing that. But anyway, I'm going to use my hands. So basically what happens in this situation is a duty to pay maintenance rests on both parties. Okay. And there is a specific calculation that is applied when you calculate maintenance. There's a budget summary form that if you work with me and you come and you need assistance in maintenance, I would send you a form where it's literally like a budget summary form. It lists every single kind of expense that you would ever pay, from rent to bond to pets to pool, the accessories, like anything you can think of is on this form. What happens is that you then calculate an amount that is payable for the children. In South Africa, rule of thumb, okay, this is what the courts apply. I'm not going to get into whether I agree with it or not. That's not a debate for now. But it is 25% of every cost is attributable to one child. That's one child portion. So if you are the primary caregiver and you're paying rent of 10,000 Rand a month, and you have and you basically have a situation where you have two kids, then 50% will be attributable to the kids. I'm not going to make it too complex, but I'm going to explain it simply. If you earn more, right, then obviously you'll be liable for more of that maintenance. But it's not that you'll be having to pay more because you earn more. It's just how it works. Okay, so only the parent who earns the most will pay maintenance. That is definitely false. Okay. Both parents, if they're earning, will have a duty to pay maintenance. But there is a certain calculation that needs to be done. If you want me to show you the calculation, DM me. I'll send you a screenshot of it. And yeah, maintenance is a bit tricky. It's a bit tricky, but I like to explain things in layman's terms. Is this adding value? Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Or am I speaking another language? Am I very, very confusing? Let me know. Okay, this one. If someone does not pay maintenance, you can prohibit them from seeing the child. True or false? Essentially, this is something that this is like a myth. This is like a myth. This is like something that many people, it's like the Loch Ness monster. Like, I can't stand it. But it is 100% billion% false. Contact, and it might not be fair. I'm not here to be the fair police. But in South Africa, there's no such thing as no maintenance, no contact. That's just how it is. You still need to give access to the child, even if that person is not paying maintenance. Do I think it's fair? I can't actually answer on that, because I've dealt with every single matter I've dealt with has been completely different, right? So for me to give an opinion on it is basically impossible. I'm here to just tell you the facts, the law, and how to apply it. So if someone is not paying maintenance, you can't deny contact. But what you can do is that you can apply to the maintenance court in order to enforce the maintenance order. Okay, there's something cool, and I will post it in this week when I did an interview on ENCA, where when people aren't paying maintenance in South Africa and you launch a maintenance application against them, and they say, many parents, I plead poverty, I don't have money, I can't afford, blah, 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 blah. But then you obviously see them going for lunches and all that kind of jazz. You can issue a maintenance application against that person. And what happens is that that's basically like a trial. Once again, not very complex, but more complex, and I can explain in like a minute or two. If you want more information, pop me a DM, let's set up a call. But basically, you cannot deny contact. But if that person isn't paying maintenance, what you can do is launch that application. And if they can't afford to pay you, then you can now attach assets. You can attach pension funds. You can, and if that person can't pay, there's been recent case law where someone could pay, didn't want to pay, and his children basically weren't getting any money. He was in a massive arrears, and the court put him in jail. There you go. So pay maintenance. I don't care if you hate your ex-wife. I don't care if you hate your ex-husband. To be honest, I don't care, right? I just care about your kids getting education. I care about your kids having food on the table. And just because you're not together with the person that you married, your kids do not need to suffer. The end. Yes, thanks for bringing that up, Coms. Grandparents can pay. So there is a thing in South Africa where, if, say, for example, you have a situation where your ex is not paying, and let's use two examples. They're not paying because they don't want to, but they're living lavish in another space, but they're not paying because they can't. They don't actually have the means, and it happens, and it's really, really sad. And let's say the grandparents have money where you can show, but it is a procedure. And as I say, disclaimer, there is a lot more information to this. Don't just go and say, Jennifer said this, without asking me further questions, right? But you would then need to take that person to the maintenance court. The court would need to show that they can't afford it properly, right? So there would need to be an order that basically says that the person can't pay the maintenance that is needed. Then you can apply to the grandparents to pay, but this is for basic necessities. And when I say basic necessities, this is parenting. This is schooling, this is food, this is medical aid, all those things. You can't claim against the grandparents and be like, my kids want to go on a skiing trip and you must pay. You can try, like, I'll come to court and watch. I doubt the court would give that to you, but as I said, if you don't ask, you don't get. So you can try it. 90% chance you won't be successful, but when it comes to basic necessities, 100% you can claim against grandparents. Thanks for raising that, Comms. Next question. The child will always stay in the mother's care, right? I got a 5% true here. I'm going to go check who said that. Joking. So basically that is a false thing. Okay. There's also a misconception that a mother will have more rights completely depends on the situation. Like, it completely depends on the situation. If the mother, let's say, like, I'll give you two completely contrasting situations. Let's say the mother is a stay-at-home mom. She cares for the kids, or like majority of the time. She takes them to school. She does homework. She does all that jazz. And the father is travels a lot, works a lot, is hardly home. Obviously, the children would spend more time with the mother because, let's be honest, like, if the dad's not home a lot, then and the children are left with a nanny, it might not be in their best interest. And that's what a court will always look at in South Africa. What is in the best interest of the child? We must do that. Okay. But if it's like a situation where you get two parents that equally have the same time, equally add value to the children's lives, then it should be shared residency. My view is very simple. Kids deserve two good parents. The end. Done. Okay. I've had situations where a mother wanted more contact than the father because the father works so much. My client was the father. He said to me, if I get to share time with my kids, I won't work as much. And he didn't. He stopped working as much. He stopped traveling as much. He hired more people to take care of his company. He basically did all these things to make sure that he made time for them. So that's why I'm saying to you, if you ever have these questions, like, yes, I'm an attorney, yes, blah, 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 like whatever thought you have in a attorney, I literally treat every single situation uniquely because it is unique. Every single situation and every single parent and every single child is unique, right? And that's how I approach it. And I will give you clear advice. Sometimes I have clients that are amazing fathers, but they need to become more comfortable with a child. So then I get a social worker involved or a parenting coach or something, right? Like, there's no such thing as a one size fits all. Like, we can adapt. Just adding value, because I like to know, because then I don't like to just be rambling and everyone's like, okay, Jenna, cool. But yeah, is this adding value? Is it helping? I will get to the other questions now. Just give me, I think I've got two left here. There we go. One left. There. A parenting plan should contain information on how disputes will be handled if they arise. Okay, so I put the word should here. Okay. If there's no dispute resolution, I don't think that that's a good parenting plan, to be honest. I think that there should always be a dispute resolution clause no matter what. How you word it can change, obviously, but you never want to be in a position that if you're having an issue or fight over something and then the other person runs to court, like, that's unnecessary. So should it contain information how disputes should be handled? 100%. So that was, we got 83% true, 17% false. So that's a winner. Just go here, hang on. Hi, why would your ex rather go the route of a Rule 43 rather than doing a proper parenting plan? Okay, so Rule 43 and a parenting plan is very different. Okay, let me maybe put that in perspective. A Rule 43, and as I said, for me to explain this in absolute depth is going to be impossible. If you want to set up a call, more than welcome. But a Rule 43 is about interim relief. Okay. If someone is thinking about doing a Rule 43 against you, you need to ask yourself specific questions. One, are you, and I can't see you are, because it just says Facebook users, so it's not me personally asking a question, it's me being general. Firstly, are you not paying the amount that you were paying in the marriage? So have you basically cut that person off financially? Two, are you in a massive conflict over contact in terms of children? If so, Rule 43 is not the way right now. I would rather nominate a social worker to do a report. It's a lot cheaper, it's a lot easier, and you're not wasting the court's time. And three, that person might be claiming money against you to pay for their legal costs. So South Africa, Rule 43 is a mechanism that puts a person in a position that when they go through the divorce, they it's clear. It's an order. It's an order of how much money the other person will pay in terms of maintenance, how the contact will be arranged, and thirdly, a contribution to legal costs. Proper parenting plan. Rule 43 scare me because, can I tell you the problem? They're not appealable. So if you get a really bad judge that gives a really bad order, it's not appealable. So you can't actually appeal it. So if you have any more questions about it, just rather raise it with me. It's quite in depth. But it's two different things. The parenting plan and Rule 43 isn't in the same realm. My son stays with me 1 week and his dad next week. My son comes back as a brat. Can I change this arrangement? Okay, so this is a massive thing, right? When you say your son comes back as a brat, I will give you 2 reasons why that might be happening. 1, he is a child and he's manipulating you. So you might see him as being a brat because he's getting away with certain things. And 2, you and your co-parents are not acting as a team. Okay. So kids will always try and manipulate to get what they want when they can get what they want from one parent. I even did it when I was younger, right? So there are 3 ways that you need to deal with it. I don't believe that changing the arrangement would be the best option. I think it should be the last option because shared residency sometimes is the best. But what you can do is that you can have a break in the middle. So on a Wednesday evening, either of you take your son for dinner, right? And you break that chain of the full 1 week. Or you basically sit down with your co-parent and deal with it together, like 2 adults, and you say, it's coming back as a brat. We need to have a uniform space of parenting, okay? And I think that's the biggest problem. When parents separate in one household, the children are forced to do homework. In another household, kids can eat ice cream and watch TV until 1 o'clock in the morning. So they'd rather go there, right? Have you ever met a kid that goes, oh, no, I'd rather go do homework than have fun? No, I haven't even met an adult that's done that, to be honest. So, as I said, in that regard, changing the arrangement would be the last thing. Do you need maybe guidance? Of course. I also do coaching. I give legal advice, but I also coach parents in how to kind of get with that. But from that, I can see that there's no uniform rules in both households. So he might be coming back as a brat to your household because he's gotten away with things that are normal in the other household. Okay, does that add value? I hope it does. So when it comes to parenting plans, it is not a one size fits all, right? Obviously, there is some sort of precedent that is used. Obviously, there's different clauses that can be put in. Obviously, there are clauses that must be put in. But it is one of those things where I like to deal with things how they are in practicality and then formalize that into a parenting plan. I have a parenting plan in place, but the problem is that dad doesn't do his responsibility. For example, homework is not done. That happens so much. So when homework is not done, let's try to find a solution rather than attacking the problem. So I'm trying to try to think off the top of my head. Homework is not done. Why is homework not being done? Is homework not being done because the father is busy? Is homework not being done because when homework needs to be done, there's no discipline? Find the root of the problem and then focus on that rather than so don't focus on homework's not being done. Focus on why is homework not being done? Is homework not being done because the parent doesn't care? Is homework not being done because they don't know that homework needs to be done? Dig deeper into that and see that, and then take it from there. But that stuff happens. It does. It is easily resolvable if both parents communicate effectively, right? Yeah. Any last questions? Anything else that anyone would like to ask? I'm more than happy to answer. I'm going to post the links here for the ebook. If anyone misses this link, you're more than welcome to DM me, and I will. Sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses, so I cannot see anything. Well, I can see, but it's a bit blurry. So go into the divorcecheck.co.za. I think that's a // free gifts. you'll get a whole bunch of free books there. You're going to get your parenting plan, you're going to get divorce settlement agreement, you're going to get all of that. How do you get hold of me? You can pop me a DM and I will direct message, like slang of here. You can pop me a direct message. I will send you a link to my calendar where you can book a 15-minute connected call, see if I can assist you. Or you can email me, just give me a minute, at help. Also, actually, just go to www.thedivorcecheck. Everything is there. Everything is there. There we go. You can also email me. So great. Love the attitude. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. This is amazing. It's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure. The free ebook is literally there to guide you and give you the basic tools. If you want to set up a consult, email me. If you want to set up a call, the link is also in my bio, right? So sometimes I get a lot of DMs and stuff that come through and they go into like a general folder. I'm not ignoring you, not ignoring you, promise. But if you do want to set up a call, my calendar is in the link in my bio. So just click on that and book. I really hope that this added value, guys. If you guys have questions, rather set up a 15-minute call, because also there's a whole bunch of stuff that I ask you. I get the information and then we can chat for 15 minutes and I can actually see if I can help you. And if I can't, then at least I can refer you to someone that can. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you guys are watching the replay, same thing, message me. Have a beautiful evening. And yeah, I'm trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think so. Next week, actually, wait, there's one more thing. Tomorrow, I've got an event with Finance for Females where we're talking about marriage and money and divorce and legal assistance and money. So it's basically like financial advisors and lawyers for an hour and a half. It's going to add so much value. I do recommend that you register. The link is in Finance for Females Instagram bio. Go there. If you can't find it, DM me, I'll send you the link. Okay. And then the second thing is I have another masterclass coming up where you get to plan your divorce plan of action. I'll explain that next week, because next week I'm dealing with divorce settlement agreements. But thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you have an absolutely beautiful evening. Keep warm, keep cool. I don't know, this weather's so up and down. It's like, just keep comfortable. And yeah, have a great evening. And I'm sending you lots of love, lots of light, and yeah, chat soon. Cheers, guys.